Hello, Tyler Bryden here. I hope everything is going well. It's been a while since I made a video. I feel ashamed. I feel guilty. I feel behind. I was on such a roll creating YouTube videos for a while, and then just life comes at you. So congratulations to anyone who can keep up that motivation, the prioritization, the time capacity. All that is super impressive and super difficult, as I have entered a new stage with Speak AI. And in today's video, I really wanted to talk about a few things that we've done, with the main focus being around how you can make monetization of your product even easier. And I'm going to use some examples that we've implemented specifically at the company I co-founded and run right now, Speak AI. And maybe they're not exactly specific to your SaaS product. Maybe it's not the same configuration and there might be some differences here, but I'm hoping that some of these lessons that we've learned and learned so late, things that were obvious in retrospect, maybe give you some thoughts to think about if you are owner of a business, of a SaaS company, all that. So this is a little bit more niche, maybe targeted video than some of the previous things I've done. It's about making monetization easy in the products that you're building and selling. And so looking at that through the lens of Speak, our product by Speak AI. And if you don't know much about Speak, there's tons of videos on it, both on this sort of personal channel and then also on the Speak AI channel, which I can link in the video description below. For now, let's jump into the product and use it as a framework for viewing how you can make monetization easier in the applications. We are in the dashboard of Speak. And this is where basically your first time register, first time sign in, this is what you're going to see. Now, are there some things that are not great about this? Yeah, absolutely. But we're getting better. And there were some things that were super absent before. Now, what happens is when you come in, generally we see a lot of people who are transcribing audio and video. One of the steps that we made was to implement this little area here called Quick Actions, with new upload being the top left, us knowing that is the primary sort of option that people are taking. So I can hit new upload. I can dump an MP3 file in here. Immediately I can see this is going to cost 5 cents. And in the 14-day trial at Speak, you're able to get 30 minutes free. A little chintzy, maybe, perhaps, but that's what we do. I love this idea of this Uber concept, which is Uber would basically lock you in as a customer after 3 rides. And so what they would do was give you about 2.5 rides of credit. And after that, then you need to make the transaction. And so this is how we look at it in Speak. A lot of times the 30-minute file, you can get that 30 minutes free, but maybe they're doing 45 minutes. Maybe they're doing 60-minute file upload. That's when the transaction then needs to take place. They need to pay for this upload on a permanent basis. It automatically takes that duration and then calculates the cost. So in the previous instance, we're so embarrassed about this, you would add a balance into your account. So what you would have to do if you were going upload and pay and you didn't have a balance, you would actually have to basically exit out of this and go and visit the payment settings page, which was buried in the application. You'd have to know that this was here. And then you were basically creating a friction point directly in the upload process where a transaction could and should happen. And so in the past iteration, what we've done has now made that balance add super easy 2 ways. One, a very simple button up at the top. This button is there. If I click through all pages, it's always hanging out there at the top. And we've seen on a month-over-month basis about 40% increase in successful payments in the application, 30% increase in new customers. So a simple adding of the balance here has made that impact, as well as when you are doing the checkout, I can grab this MP3, I can pay, and if you don't have a card, you can easily add the card there in the same module, and then you can add the balance and then check out fully all the way through. And that simple configuration, that simple change has driven that increase and that growth, that revenue, that trajectory that we're on, and created a much easier path to monetizing users who come in to Speak, as well as creating a frictionless experience for the users to become customers, which is what we want. It's also what they want. People want to solve this problem. And if you can reduce the friction of it, then they will carry through. And this is maybe different when you are say in a market, you're in a blue ocean and there's no other systems available. But specifically this transcription, audio video transcription, there's a lot of companies out there, there's a lot of noise out there. And so if you test out a product, there's any friction in it, you will most likely see them leave, probably never come back to the platform. And so by creating any barriers, any friction, you can lose out on significant amounts of revenue. And we had the realization of this way too late to add these simple call to actions throughout the application. We've done so many advanced things, but at a core level, we just had this gap in making this as easy as possible. And so that was just one example. If you have a CTA or a monetization option in your digital product, an upsell, whatever it is, make it as absolutely easy as you possibly can. Make it highly visible, make it frictionless, and you will see much higher rates of completion, of success, of customers, of revenue through that mechanism. And ideally, it's in plain sight at all times and very obvious what that CTA is. The next part was actually the structure of payment in Speak. And this may be something that you can consider depending on the type of business that you're in. In Speak, we have basically a couple options, and this is a new option that we released because what we would see is a subset of users who would be doing a project, maybe a specific research project for whether it's school and academic research or market research, competitive research, whether for a client or internally. So they would maybe do a monthly subscription, 3-month subscription. After that, they would cancel the plan. And really that created some problems with the automatic structuring of the account, inflated churn numbers. They would cancel the plan and say, hey, we love the product. We just don't have any more data to analyze. And for that reasons, we're canceling. And so what we did was say, okay, there is a subsegment of users, prospective customers, and customers who want to use Speak in a pay-as-you-go manner. And how can we support that while also supporting our business and our growth? And that's where I think a bit of innovation came out of Speak here, and we made a pretty hard push to make this happen, which is offering this pay as you go. And I think there's a huge friction point here because especially if you're a software company, maybe you're optimizing for investment, you're trying to create predictable revenue. This is a tension. This is a challenge because you say, hey, why would I want a customer to go pay as you go when I don't get to lock them in for a subscription, ideally a longer subscription? And I think that's a very fair thing to believe and think. But what we've seen from our end is that we are trying to support our customers in the way that they use the product. And when we do that, we create the best outcome. So this pay-as-you-go method really reduces the friction of becoming a customer on Speak. And if you are using it enough, you have enough data, then there are some pretty good incentives to then subscribe to an actual plan. And so that's what we've set up. And to make this worthwhile for us, what we've done is, hey, you can't give us a commitment right now. We want you to start using Speak. You are paying more on the per minute basis and for the magic prompts functionality, which is an interaction with the large language models. And you can see at a certain point, if you actually subscribe, it's only going to be 5 cents per minute, 75% reduction, and $4, so 50% reduction when you subscribe. And so the incentive is there. We're happy in the pay-as-you-go because there's a nice profit margin there for us. And if you subscribe, we're happy because you've made that commitment. You're getting a great discount. Not only are you getting that discount, you're getting opportunities to customize plans with that discounted rate so it can really add up. And one of the other interesting things that came out of doing some research on SaaS pricing the other day was that premium add-ons are actually one of the best ways to monetize your digital products. And this can apply if you're in digital business, doing e-commerce, whatever it is. People are often scared to do add-ons. For us, it's actually been a great driver of the business in a way that we've figured out these little triggers or mechanisms where there's a lot of value being created in the application. It also indicates to us that this is maybe a more premium or advanced or larger user or customer of the business. And so by creating those options and allowing you to check, you can really quickly customize the plan. So I want these 3 functionalities. And then also, instead of trying to build prepackaged, fully strict plans, I'm able to, as a customer, as a user, tailor this specifically to myself. And so this is another time where you can reduce friction. Often we see SaaS products, digital products, where you're paying for this thing and you're like, I'm only using X percentage of this. And maybe it was built with my kind of use case in mind, but it doesn't exactly fit. And now through this mechanism, I can say, hey, I'm this size. I want to go for 6 months. I need 100 hours during that time. I've got 5 additional team members and I want a ton of magic prompts. You can see the plan build right there, highlighting the percentage off and then the total discount that is applied on that, which makes a big difference. Again, just another way to articulate the incentive and the benefits of subscribing there. And then easily you can create that subscription, add the payment all in one modal, and that will configure your account automatically. Now, there is still challenges with this. We find that some people love this pricing. Other people hate it. They find it complex. They find it difficult. We have supplemented this with product tours and guides. So if you can do that, especially if you have any advanced thinking required around pricing, it's a super helpful thing to do. And it's also, in some cases, allowed us to have this place of trust where we maybe jump on a call with a prospective customer, a larger customer, and in that way, we can build a plan together with them, send a screenshot after, and then they can just replicate that, or they can sign up right on the call itself. And instead of being this sort of hard sell, you become the guide to helping them set up the perfect plan. And you can see that sort of built through the messaging and everything. If you have any sort of functionality like this in your system based on the specific number of hours, providing discounts at high volumes, pricing per team member, which a lot of organizations are actually very accustomed to, giving options that are not just monthly, because some organizations have billing cycles that are annual or multi-annual, and they want to buy that in the first quarter of the year and subscribe for an entire year. And so if you can't accompany that, then you're creating friction in the buying behavior, and you might show some sort of stages of being too early in the business to handle a more mature organization who wants to buy. A few other things that we've done is create an API so that you can automate the ingestion of audio and video data into Speak. And when that goes beyond your subscription, whether it's the API or if you are just using the web app of Speak, you go beyond your subscription limits. You are just paying for additional usage. You're not capped. You're not waiting. People want to use the product. They don't want to wait till the next month to re-access their hours or their magic prompts and things like that. So while there could be some complexity in that model, it allows customers to then go beyond their subscription and transition into a subscription plus usage based that doesn't block them from using the product more if they want to. And often we see if that behavior happens, they will then subscribe to a larger plan. And that's a win-win for everyone because then they've locked in that lower rate and they have a better understanding of how they're going to use the system and upgrade very seamlessly with no challenges, again, reducing that friction level within the application. A few other things that we've done to create a frictionless experience for the customer and also for us to monetize are things like integrations with Zapate, which you can hook into thousands of applications and automatically push information into Speak or push reports and analysis out, as well as CSV bulk imports where you can upload hundreds, if not thousands of files at once and really often hit that point of, okay, this is no longer free. I need to pay to use this. And then very automatically tapping into the credit card, tapping into the balance there so that you can monetize successfully and allow a customer to dump a ton of data into Speak, which is when the value really starts to emerge. Now, I know these examples may be very specific to the company Speak AI, but I hope that they're valuable to you and maybe give you some ideas or thoughts around how you can monetize the platform. Now, one other thing that I'll quickly mention that we've seen recently as we move upstream for bigger customers is how can you automatically grab their company details so that invoices are compliant, especially if you're dealing with customers across the world? How can you automatically collect taxes to support them and your obligations as a company that is selling products throughout the world. And overall, moving from a self-serve platform, but augmenting it so that larger businesses and users can grow alongside it. And throughout those couple mechanisms that I showed you, the easy ad balance, adding the card, making the checkout flow really easy, how to structure maybe plans for people, whether it's the pay-as-you-go that I showed you, or allowing users to customize the plan so it fits their exact needs and make that purchase experience and the accommodation for them even more precise, even more perfect than maybe alternatives, maybe competitives that they might look at where it's one size fits all plans. These are all mechanisms that may be very specific to Speak in this example, but I hope give you ideas that you can execute on in your business if you're selling digital products or things like this. I hope this was insightful and valuable information for you. It's been a lot of learning and lessons throughout time, some early on, some seemingly too late, but it's never too late. You can always improve. You can always make the experience of your application better. And you can always figure out better ways to create good experiences for your end users and monetization opportunities for yourself as a business owner, as a company. So thank you for checking out this video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.